Greetings everyone, it's Seven from London again. I'm saying hi to everybody and coming with another video. I want to cover just a few things. It's just going to be a really short video. The first thing I wanted to flag up was this article that somebody left it today and I saw it. And basically it says, call to close the roads around the commons. And basically they're saying we'll consider Parliament car ban to stop terror attacks, says Met Boss. But the thing is, we know there are no terror attacks. They're all in-house staged operations. So something is going on, and maybe they're anticipating some sort of uprising in the UK. Who knows? But just to flag that up, the date of that was the 15th of August, so it's the 17th now. So I have no idea what's going on there, but I felt like it was worthy of flagging up. Now, the main thing I want to cover today in my video, for anybody who hasn't watched any of my videos before, there's quite a few videos that explain who I am and that I have been a targeted individual for the last 15 years now. Just quickly, I was targeted after I went to a law firm in London to protect my intellectual property. Unbeknownst to me, I went to a law firm and met somebody called Christopher Gossage, who is in this law firm in Regent Street, London, and unbeknownst to me, I had walked into an organised crime ring, satanic ring, and they are connected to the Jimmy Savile satanic crime ring that is operating within mainstream media and intelligence agencies, and they're connected to all the higher echelons. I was set up when I went to the meeting for them to steal my intellectual property and basically murder me. I was set up to meet somebody called Helen Alexander, who is an ex-BBC member of staff, who was obviously involved in Jimmy Savile's ring. And for the last 15 years, I have gone through what can only be described as a living nightmare, you know, but I'm a survivor, I'm a strong person, and the reason I want to make this video in relation to the article that I've just flagged up is because my case was connected to the 7/7 bombings and the shooting of John Charles Menendez. I knew it was going to happen. I tried to alert people, and nobody would do anything about it. I ended up having to go into hiding 3 times. I went into hiding for 3 months. The first time was just before the bombings, because I took legal proceedings against 10 corporations and individuals that are all involved in this criminal network. They are international, and they have co-opted every department you can think of. They've got fixers literally everywhere, and they boast about their crimes. They are behind Charlie Hebdo, Westminster attacks, Grenfell Tower, where my aunt and my cousin died. So basically I'm saying that to say that this article is talking about protecting. Westminster could become a pedestrianised security zone in the bid to prevent vehicle terror attacks, London's police chief said today. However, it's bogus. There are no terror attacks it's all being staged by members of the mainstream media. If you watch some of my other videos, and in the description link, I always include videos about my case for anybody who wants to know what really happened. There is a crime report for Grenfell Tower that ties everything in, and I'm going to do a breakdown of that so that, everybody will become fully aware that this was a mass murder. It was also a satanic ritual, and it was also a terrorist attack, and it was also a snuff movie. And that's all factual. That's all factual because we're dealing with people that are Satanists. And, the whole way that Grenfell Tower happened was to glorify it all over the mainstream media. Even BBC had done while it was happening, they said, oh, this is like a horror movie, because they knew that that's what they were doing. Now, I watched something really disturbing yesterday. It's the testimony of somebody called Katie Groves. I'm going to link it after I say what I want to say. But I thought my situation was horrific. But, I need to applaud this woman for coming forward, because what she brought out is horrific. We're talking about, she's actually a survivor, and she made a testimony about being in a ring, a satanic ring, which was doing the snuff movies, and watching children be boiled and chopped up, and sitting in feces and chopping them up and making them eat each other. I mean, it's just, what has happened to humanity? What has happened to humanity? You can't tell me that this is acceptable by anybody's strength of imagination. The reality is, everyone, there is no body that's going to help us at all. In the last 15 years, I've been to the police so many times, me and my witnesses, and you'll see evidence of real crimes being done to me, and not one of those reports have been followed up. If you read Tony Farrell's report, the Farrell report, and you look at what has been done to me, nobody from the police has ever tried to help me in any shape or form. The crime reports are doctored. They're not interested. The police in the UK, and I would suspect everywhere now, because this crime ring are international, they're not interested in any of us. They're not interested in any of us. But this, to me, means that they are anticipating some form of an uprising in the UK, because they know that people are becoming aware of what's going on. So for them to be closing the roads and that kind of thing tells me that they're aware that, that they're anticipating something. But, there's things we can do outside of marching on the streets, because I don't think marching on the streets gets us anywhere. It doesn't get us anywhere. The reality is that, unfortunately for us, if we don't do something about the situation, nobody will. We only have each other. There's no police. There's nothing. The media, even if there are people that want to say the truth, they're probably scared for their life as well. So the reality is that, it's up to us to do something to stop this. We only have each other. And so I'm appealing to the mass population to join the hashtag campaign. It's really simple. You don't have to use your name. It doesn't cost any money. If you've got a mobile phone, you can do it anonymously if you want to. But we need to drive the message home that we've had enough. People are being killed en masse. We're talking about mass genocide. Now, I want you to listen to what this woman has to say. Her name is Katie Groves. She has got other videos where she shows her evidence of herself in this ring. I don't know her. I can't testify and say that I know her or anything like that. But I listen to what she says and it sounds like she's telling the truth. Now, as the people start to come forward, the victims, survivors come forward, you're going to hear horror stories like you can't believe. Most of you can't believe that my case is connected to 7/7 and all these things, and it's all linked to the crime ring involved in my case. I mean, a lot of you have expressed being winded by the truth. But unfortunately, the reality is you have been lied to. You've been lied to in the worst way possible. What the mainstream media are engaged in is mass hypnosis. They're literally sedating people to make it appear that everything is hunky-dory. But the reality of where we're living in today is a horror story. When you have the ability to kill people in broad daylight and actually nothing be done, nothing be said, we have a major problem on our hands, okay? Not only in regards to those people who've already been killed, but the people that they will kill in the future. Because every single day these people are sitting in offices and engineering the most horrific crimes against humanity. We're talking about mass genocide happening as we speak. Now, I'm appealing to everybody. If you have a computer or if you have a phone, all it takes is for you to put a hashtag. I will link on my videos some of the hashtags. You don't have to use those ones. But the idea is to send the message home that we've had enough. We don't want any more evil. We can't take it anymore. We don't want it anymore. We don't need it anymore. We need to basically come away from just, analyzing and become proactive. Every single one of you watching this video now can see what is happening, okay? Because most people that watch my videos are already awake. So we have to transition between just watching videos and seeing what is happening, even though that is necessary, because it's evidence. You need to be able to trust people, because there's a lot of people out there that are not genuine. This is why I always put my evidence out, so that people can know I'm totally genuine. I have lived a nightmare for the last 15 years, okay? Now, my preoccupation at this time is, how do we stop it? How do we send the message to these people that they can't do it anymore? We've had enough, okay? I personally want a public apology for what they've done to me, and I want to be credited for my work, and I want all the criminals to go to prison where they belong, okay? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to make sure that what has happened to me never happens to another human being, okay? And that the history books record the truth honestly. That's what I'm looking for. Now, on top of that, I personally believe that we have the capacity. We're 7 billion strong, okay? Look how many millions of targeted people there are out there. There are millions of us. Okay, now, instead of making videos and just talking about what is happening to you, I'm asking you to include a hashtag, no more abuse, expose the evil, be brave, whatever the hashtag, but we want to use hashtags constructively in a mass protest. That's the whole idea. It's a mass protest, okay? So I'm going to show you something. I want to show you the video of this lady, and I'll come back to you. If anybody wants any ideas or has any ideas of solutions, please let me know. Leave it in the comments. Much love.
Hello, my name is Katie Groves, and I am a survivor of the child snuff industry. This video is about my experience growing up in a child snuff ring known as Uncle Sam's Snuff Factory. This ring was located in Central Texas, and I will speak about it in the past tense only because I do not have current knowledge of its existence. But that does not mean I have any reason to believe that it has been shut down. Based on my hazy recollections, hazy because of the torture, the dissociation, the drugging, etc., the MK programming, I cannot give you an exact location, but I know that it was somewhere in Central Texas. My home was in Austin, and I recall the drives being about 45 minutes to get to this place. I recall it being in farmland, the entrance at least, but most of the ring being underground. Many people have a hard time believing that child snuff exists, that even snuff exists, then let alone that high-ranking government officials and military agencies orchestrate it. To believe that there are deep underground military bases that commit mass genocide against children, film it, and sell it on the black market for quote-unquote gore whores, snuff fiends, slop sluts, snuff kings. To watch it is unfathomable to most people. Unfortunately, that is reality, and that is a reality I know too well. I spent the first 17 years of my life being taken to that place on a near daily basis, sometimes held for longer periods of time, in which I was incarcerated, did not know if I would ever see daylight again. I've witnessed thousands of murders, largely of children of color, who were systematically targeted for their race by the white supremacist government, which runs the United States. They called it Uncle Sam's Snuff Factory as a private joke, as if it was a mom and pop shop, a local business. Uncle Sam was supposed to be a friendly figure, a figure in American propaganda, supposed to look at like a father, like a friend. The Snuff Factory, also known as the Genocide Factory, is the very literal definition of hell on earth. It is not unique. There are other places like it all over the world. I have been trafficked there as well. But what I can say is there is no place like Uncle Sam's. It is one of those places where a person can get literally anything they want for the right price if they have the connections to be there. I have seen wealthy, aristocratic white women ordering children of color on menus to be delivered dead, cooked on platters in a wing of the place they called Cannibal's Kitchen. And the reason I'm alive and the reason I survived is because I was born into an organized crime family involved with the CIA who ran this operation. And I had the genetics, the family background to be a candidate for perpetration, for continuing the cycle of violence, from being one of the quote-unquote leaders or members of the group involved. So I was kept alive for experimentation, for slavery, for use. I have fought my way out, and if you want to learn about that, you can watch any of the videos on my channel. It'll be informative. But I still suffer every day deeply with the post-traumatic stress. I have polyfragmented dissociative identity disorder as a result. It actually goes beyond polyfragmentation. I have something called exponential fragmentation, which I have spoken of in some videos I'll put in the description below, so that you can understand the level of trauma that this type of abuse can create. I weep for my brothers and sisters in this place, the ones who are undoubtedly still alive and suffering there. I weep for the dead, but death is a merciful option in a place like that. No, that does not mean that I am not grateful for my survival, but grateful is a hard word to use in the circumstance. How does one feel gratitude when they have witnessed such carnage? Because we're not just talking about death, we're talking about the worst possible ways to die. Children being boiled alive in shit and piss that predators paid to donate into iron tubes. We're talking about children cut apart, fed to other children for people's sexual gratification. And most don't want to look at it, and I do not blame you. I do not blame the survivors of this abuse who stay dissociated, who remain used and enslaved because they cannot look either, because they cannot come to terms with their experiences. And I do not blame the general public who will not look. But this is reality. And all I ask of those who watch this is that you remember that while it may be excruciatingly painful for you to look at this reality, to think about this being possible, there are children. I ask you to remember and acknowledge that there are children who are surviving it every day. There are children enduring this, dying in this, and surviving this, who have to carry that pain all alone. And if they can do that, maybe you can muster the strength, if you have it, to look, to think about it just enough to get involved in some way to stop the madness. And no, I do not expect you to find this place, to find these underground trafficking rings, bust down the doors, and rescue these kids. I doubt if that will ever happen before World War III comes, or some epidemic and wipes us all out, while the people who perpetrate this remain alive in their underground worlds, and so on and so forth. Don't even want to go into the whole NWO thing right now. No, I don't expect that from you. I don't expect you to stop this in that way. But there are people fighting human trafficking. There are people who need voices. And at the very least, I encourage you to extend your support in some way to those who have survived, even if you cannot help those who are lost. I don't know how to help those who are lost. But there are people like me, and no, I'm not asking for myself, but for everyone. There are people like me who have survived these things who need help. They need therapists, we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need support, we need friends. We need new family because most of us have lost ours. And if you can be that for somebody, you can help the collective damage created by these rings. And hopefully one day that collective spirit will be strong enough to take this stuff out at its source, to go down into the trenches and actually rescue the majority of the children in child trafficking who never make it out. Thank you.